side, Caileigh, Walsh on your side. We're just opening up for questions. Go ahead.
You guys combined for the highest scoring today. Like, looking back on this game and your careers, what's it mean to come out here and just leave it all out on the court?
Bittersweet. I think definitely not the outcome we wanted, but I love it here, and I wanted my last game to leave everything on the court. And me and Caileigh have always been this dynamic duo since we got here, so it was good to play with her for the last time today.
Yeah.
Alexis Markowski was really dominant today. What was so difficult to stop in regards to your game plan relating to her, especially on the offensive glass?
I mean, she's a great player, so it's hard to stop great players.
Do you have any big picture reflections, on leading this team this year and just over the last 4 seasons here?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you have any just your senior night, any reflections on your career, your 4 years here, what you've seen leading this team this season?
Yeah, I think we had a really, really good team, and I think that there were times that we let teams get away, but I think that, like Coach said, I think teams were afraid to play us. I think that we were very unpredictable. You didn't know what you were going to get with us. But yeah, no, it's been a good 4 years, and I wish that the season had been better, but I have nothing but love for this team. And, yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, my reflection over my 4 years is all the relationships that I've built with all my teammates. And I think that even though, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, I'm just really proud to be a Wildcat.
Brennan.
For both of you guys, obviously a very emotional day around the program, senior day, obviously Whitney. Can you guys just talk a little bit about what it means to have so much support from your fans and from your families, especially on a day like today?
Yeah, I think for everybody's family to be here, and I think that, we have so much support within each other too, and I think this team has been through a lot that, you guys know about some, you guys don't know about some, so I think that I'm just proud that we stayed together all year and that we came out at the end still loving each other and still being a family and still just being one cohesive team. So even though we didn't get the win percentage that we wanted, I'm proud of how we handled this season.
Yeah, it's a difficult subject, but I did want to take a moment to ask about Brittany Perez, seeing as she was honored at tonight's game. I know it's been a difficult week for people who knew her, including yourselves, I'm sure. Could you take a moment to just talk about what she was like as a manager and as a person, and what her losses felt like for you guys?
Britt was a ball of energy. She was always laughing, always goofing off. Very, very funny. Really got to know her when we sat down in Philly. We had a little steak dinner that was put together for us, and we were talking and stuff, getting to know where she was from and what she liked. And she was just, anybody would talk to her saying that she was funny and she was cool. And she would really do anything for anybody, and that's the vibe that I got from her working with her the past 2 years.
I think that it gets a little bit tedious, honestly, for anyone who has to do the same thing over and over every day. And coming to the gym every day to practice, it's tough for us sometimes mentally, but I think that she specifically brought a sense of joy to the team and a sense of excitement and kind of just a refresh, honestly, for all of us who've been here for 4 years. And I think that she just loved being here, and it made us love being here. It just rubbed off on us.
Further questions?
Yeah, obviously you guys have been here for 4 years, but players like Caileigh and Taylor, obviously they only had the 1 year here. What can you say about their impact on the program, even if they haven't been here for the entirety of the long haul like you guys have?
Yeah, I think that their transition into our team was honestly pretty seamless. They're great people, and they fit really well in with our personalities. So, you expect a little bit of locker room problems when you have 7 new players, but we didn't experience any of that. And I think that that's the best outcome that we could have possibly gotten. I think that Taylor and Caileigh did a great job of coming in and doing exactly what they needed to do from the very beginning. And I can't credit them enough, and because I don't know how hard it is to transfer for 1 year and play at a brand new program. So I just give them all the credit in the world for coming here and just embracing our culture and our team mentality and playing within our program and our set.
Thank you, ladies. Coach, you want to get us started with an opening statement on tonight?
Yeah, I think number one, to have 5 seniors that, we just talked in the locker room that they bleed Northwestern, they bleed purple, and they love the people in the locker room that they were teammates with. And so I'm really proud of those 5. And, Caileigh, Mel, Mercy, been with me 4 years. But, Taylor and Kai, they jumped right in. It felt like they've been here a long time too, and so I'm really proud of them. It's a unique world in college basketball now, where you're going to play 1 year, and I wish I had both. I wish I had them all 5 back, but when you coach somebody for 6 months, you're really still trying to figure out strengths, weaknesses. But really, they were so coachable and so much fun to be around. And then, for Mel, came to my camp when she was little, her and her dad from New York, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, we need to get this kid. And we did. And I sat in Caileigh Walsh's house the day before COVID hit, and I barely made it out of Jersey and out of Newark Airport. And so, those guys were recruited during a very difficult time, and they couldn't visit colleges. We were doing Zoom calls, and we did, we went around campus and photographed it and gave presentations that way. Their first time on campus was their first day when they got here, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot for them, and they've handled that really well. So again, proud of them. Nebraska tonight played great. Felt like they made every shot, and we clawed and got back, had chances to get it. We wanted to get it to 10 going into the fourth quarter, which we were able to do against Maryland. We just couldn't do it today. They just shot it to where, we just couldn't stop them. So credit them, and I wish them the best. The league is so deep. I'm sure they're an NCAA tournament team. And we're excited about our future. We got some great young players in the program. We signed one of the best players in New York, and so I think the foundation is back to where we need to be one of those 7, 8, 9 best teams in this league, and that's our goal starting tomorrow. I used to say 1, 2, 3 teams, but you're going to see 10, 12 teams in our league in the tournament in next Sunday.
Coach, I know it's a difficult subject, and Lance just asked the same question to Caileigh and Mel, but do you have any reflections to share about how your team's dealing with the loss of Brittany, and maybe about what she meant to you in this program?
Yeah, thank you. Brittany was just a ray of sunshine every day, and she was funny. She'd make me laugh. We talk about any different things. She was from Texas, and she played high school basketball. We'd always talk about that. I'd tell her I was going to put her in practice one day, and she just had this booming personality and infectious smile, and she just, you just love being around her. So, I pray for her and her family, and having, they're having to deal with, an incredibly difficult situation. But we had a service the other night at the Shield Center where students came out in droves. You couldn't get in. It was amazing, and I think that's a reflection of what people think about her. And what I would also say, somebody that had such an impact on so many people at such a young age, you also have to celebrate her life too. And I think, that's something that we want to do as a team and as, our players. And so, I'm just heartbroken that she's not with us.
Coach, we rightfully so hear all the time about your players, your assistants. Can you kind of tell the fans what they don't get to see with the student managers and your staff and what they mean to you?
Yeah, thank you. That's well put, because, whether it's Brittany or the other student managers that are with our program, they're amazing. They work behind the scenes. They never leave the gym. They're always there to help our players. They do anything that you ask them to do on road trips. They're doing everything from unloading buses to taping the inside of a room so we can walk through an out of bounds play that night or the next day. And all they say is, "Coach, thanks for letting us be part of it." And so we're really blessed here to have a great group of student managers, and we also have male practice players that kind of fill both roles, and they're just really unselfish, both groups, and proud to have them in our family. They're part of our team. They're not, and our players do a great job of making them feel part of our team. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, obviously the last few years have been difficult for this team. I think tonight's loss was the 62nd in the last 3 years. What do you kind of make of the last few years, and what do you think needs to be done heading into next year to get into that 8, 9, 10 range that you brought up?
Yeah, ironically, we put a banner up in the gym that says Big Ten champions. 2020, 21, we were right back in the NCAA tournament in San Antonio. Should have beat Louisville. 22, when these guys were freshmen. We beat 4th-ranked Michigan. We beat the great Caileigh Clark in Iowa at their house. They won the Big Ten. And we had games that were canceled on us, and we would have been in the NCAA tournament that year. We had a great team when they were freshmen, and Veronica Burton, and Sydney Wood, whatever. So we got to get back to that level, and we will. And I feel like our staff is committed recruiting-wise. We have a lot of support from the university, and now that we were going through a lot of facilities and everything. Now, you walk in our arena. The one thing we did back then, and I thank our administration, we worked really hard to build a fan base, and even with our team is really competitive, but the wins haven't piled up like they used to. People still come watch us, so I'm really excited. The crowd today was great. We need, obviously we need in this world of NILs and portals. You see players come into our league. The Big Ten is in the forefront of it. So, we've been a player. We had somebody in the wings, but the reality now is that we probably have to be more involved.
Coach, you've talked about the player development aspect of this program. You've talked about the family aspects of this program. Looking back on, the 4 years you got to spend with the 3 seniors who have been here for the long haul, and then this season you've gotten to spend with Caileigh Jones and Taylor Rose, what do you think they've all contributed to this program's family?
I will tell you this: Caileigh Walsh was trying to make a decision between us and UCLA, and it was during COVID. And I'll never forget, I was on my phone with her family in the background, and you couldn't. We had to do everything that way, and she decided to come here instead of going, ironically, to a team that's in our league now. And I think we will always be a student-athlete university. We're not a win-at-all-cost, whatever's more important. And those guys, Caileigh Walsh, incredible student. I never had an issue. And I think we will always have that student-athlete concept in what we do. And those guys, all you know, what Mercy has been through, she's been through so many injuries that it's just really held her back. And she had so much talent, potential, just, you know, it just never happened for her. You know, and you saw Mel, you know, evolve into one of the top players in the Big Ten. And I think she should be Sixth Player of the Year if, you know, if people are, will vote for her in our league. But she's had that kind of year. And, you know, Caileigh, when you come from Brown and you know, you've had this incredible career in the Ivy League, you know, she just, like I said, she just was seamless coming into our program. And academically, and, you know, just walked in the gym like she had been here 4 years. And, you know, Taylor Williams, I think there's probably a lot of basketball left in her. Hopefully she'll get an opportunity, you know, like Caileigh. I think Caileigh and Mel also potentially, you know, have a chance to play maybe overseas. And, you know, all that will play itself out. But I appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
Coach, you talked about, you know, the last 3 years and then now turning the corner, trying to improve and get better into next year. Do you see, you know, the main focus of that being a personnel thing, like we need this kind of player on the floor, or more of a game plan strategic thing, like we need to adapt to this style of gameplay?
I think both. That's a great question. I think both. I think we were so close this year, and I'll give you an examples, and not to, you know, I know you guys have been great all year, but you know, we had Michigan beat on the road. We were down, we were up 5 in the fourth quarter. We had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter to Minnesota, Michigan, and then we took the lead against Indiana with a minute left. Those 3 games are against 3 teams that are all going to be in the NCAA tournament. So I feel Michigan State, you know, you look at Maryland, we came back and got it down to 2 or 4. We've been right there, and I think that experience means we can play with the top teams. We just we got to get older, and we got to get, you know, we got to find ways to finish those games instead of you know, letting them go. And it was disappointing too, because I feel like, you know, this was a year we could play with anybody in our league. And so, you know, and we do need, you know, with those guys leaving, you know, we do need an influx of talent too. And I think, you know, I think that will happen.
What do you feel like the seniors' impact has been on the younger players on this team, and how they interacted with them, and how do you think that will set up this program for the next few years going forward?
Yeah, you know, we had a top 25 recruiting class that's now our freshmen. You know, they've had a lot of ups and downs this year, and trying to get them on the court and experience, and I think, and just practicing against older players like a Taylor Williams or a Caileigh Walsh make you better. So we saw a lot of progress. I think where are we? Yeah, in there. We saw a lot of progress with that group. It didn't always transpire onto game day, but you know, we're excited about that group.
Audrey and Brett.
Coach, kind of adding on to Cameron's question, you talked about the need to be more involved in this new world of transfer portal and NIL. Is there anything specific you'd like to see in this offseason to kind of come out with a better team next year?
Well, I think, you know, we purposefully have, from a, whatever you want to call it, from a number standpoint, we saved scholarships that we didn't use in the fall. So we're going to go into this spring with, you know, the opportunity to recruit 3 or 4 new players, and you know, you'll read everything about NCAA settlements and things like that and this and that. But we're Northwestern. I want in our league people just buy players, so and you got to play against them. You know, so you know, I still want student athletes and players that are going to bleed Northwestern. But we're playing against pros a lot, highly paid pros.
Yeah. Coach, you talked about the freshman class, but also some of the holdovers that got a lot of experience this year: Grace Sullivan, Casey Harder, Caroline Lau. What does it mean to you and your staff that, especially on the perimeter, you're going to bring back so much Big Ten experience next year?
Yeah, and Grace has been, you know, really, we're fortunate. You know, she had 2 years eligibility coming out of the portal, and you know, really excited about. She had some big games. You know, she And we had some big wins. And we beat Utah, who's top 20 team. We beat UNLV. She just played great against good team. And in the Big Ten, Caroline, is somebody that was highly recruited and has paid her dues. And I think, I think her senior year, she now understands what it's like in the Big Ten, whether you're playing Caileigh Clark or you're playing, any number of pros. She's earned that experience now. And so, yeah, those guys, Casey Harder is your ultimate glue, student athlete player. And, we've had her, she plays every position. So I think she'll have a big year next year. She offensively took a little bit of a step back. We always had her guarding the best player on the other team all year. And she's so unselfish. One of the great student athletes in the Big Ten.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Coach, I just wanted to ask, because you mentioned wanting to bring in 3 to 4 new players in the offseason. You mentioned wanting, despite even only playing a year, wanting them to be someone that bleeds Northwestern. But from an on-court perspective, looking at your roster, where do you see, I want to bring in a player at this position or to do this role?
I think somewhat positionless. I think our best teams have been positionless when you have players that can play multiple. And that's what was great about a Lindsey Pulliam. That's what was great about, a Sydney Wood and Abby Scheid. Those guys could play everywhere. And, we love players that, are that versatile. So that, that's something that, and then again, we were not, as you guys know, and it's well documented, we were not a great three-point shooting team this year, and it hurt us. And I think it hurt us because we you saw how crowded it gets with our big kids, and so I think that's on our radar too, is people that can shoot threes and stretch defenses, and play defense. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Thank you.